Hello, Rama Pupodu. Hope all are in good health, feeling great, wonderful, having a happy and peaceful life. Now let's go with the continuation of TKS. He asked Bhagavan, "What is that one thing?" Bhagavan, knowing which all doubts are resolved. Bhagavan replied, "Know the doubter. If the doubter be held, the doubts will not arise. Recognize for certain that all are jnanis, all are realized beings. Only a few are aware of this fact. Therefore, doubts arise. Doubts must be uprooted. This means that the doubter must be uprooted. When the doubter ceases to exist, no doubts will arise. Here, the doubter means the mind. TKS asked, "What is the method, Bhagavan?" Bhagavan answered sharply, "Enquire, who am I?" This investigation alone will remove and uproot the doubter mind and thus establish one in the self, the transcendental state. On another occasion, TKS had another doubt. He was a Pandit, a traditional man who had read many scriptures, thus the six chakras, the physics center, Kundalini, and so on fascinated him. He asked Bhagavan about them, and Bhagavan replied, "The self alone is to be realized. Kundalini Shakti, visions of God, occult powers, and the spellbinding displays are all in the self. Those who speak of these and indulge in these have not realized the self. Self is in the heart and is the heart itself. All other forms of manifestations are in the brain. The brain itself gets its power from the heart. Remaining in the heart is realizing the self. Instead of doing that, to be attracted by brain-oriented forms of disciplines and methods is a sheer waste of time. It is not foolish to hold on to so many efforts and so many disciplines that are said to be necessary for eradicating the non-existent ignorance." In 1920, Bhagavan introduced TKS to Kavyakanta Ganapati Muni, who was then living in the mango tree cave. Every day, TKS would visit Bhagavan. So Bhagavan told him, "Go to Nayana, learn the Rig Veda and other scriptures." When TKS met Nayana, he was spellbound by his brilliance, his aura, and his tremendous achievements in traditional knowledge. He submitted himself as a student and started learning the scriptures. Every day, both Nayana and he would go to Bhagavan, and Bhagavan would give them guidance. But TKS at that tender age was overwhelmed by the magnitude of Nayana's erudition. One day he expressed this, but Nayana corrected him. He said, "Sundaresa, without Sri Bhagavan's grace, the intricacies of the scriptures are beyond one's power of understanding. One word from Bhagavan makes everything clear." He then understood what tremendous respect Nayana had for Bhagavan. We saw three events in the chapter of Kavyakanta Ganapati Muni: the extraordinary experience of the rising of his Kundalini, the remarkable manner in which Uma Sahasram was completed, and Bhagavan declaring to Nayana that the sun, moon, and stars were going around his waist. TKS had the golden opportunity of being present on all the three occasions. He affirmed to me that they were the rarest gifts showered on him for being close to Nayana. Kavyakanta had about 200 odd scholarly devotees. To all of them he said, "From now on, I am not your guru. Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi is." Sometimes, after Bhagavan had come to the present ashramam, these scholars, well placed in the world, felt that the future of Ramana ashramam was looking bright. They felt that if Nayana ultimately became the manager of Ramana ashramam, it would portend well for the ashram's future. There was another group who wanted Bhagavan's brother Niranjananda Swami to become the manager. One day, Nayana and his devotees went to the hall, and Nayana's devotees appealed to Bhagavan. Bhagavan, we all feel that Nayana should become the manager. Bhagavan, after a long silence, instead of replying to the devotees, turned to Nayana. Nayana, why should we indulge in such matters? Let him embrace this management and suffer. In Tamil, he used the words Avane Kattindu Alattum, meaning let him embrace this and cry. Nayana, prostrated before Bhagavan, got up and declared, Bhagavan, from now on, Chinnaswamy will be the manager. When he took leave, the other devotees also came out. Nayana told TKS, from today, all of us must give unconditional support to Chinnaswamy to manage the ashramam. TKS took this very seriously. By this time, Nayana had already started a huge society with over 10,000 members to work for the independence of India. They intended to chant mantras all over India. TKS was the general secretary and Nayana was his president. But when Nayana said, you will extend full support to Chinnaswamy, TKS started working in the ashramam office. A deeply spiritual man and a scholar in the Vedas, TKS was also a Pandit. He knew 3 languages, Sanskrit, Tamil and English. He was therefore entrusted with the ashramam correspondence. He took the opportunity to be in close contact with Bhagavan. He would take every spiritual letter that came to Bhagavan and ask for his suggestions. Bhagavan would explain what was required and he would write it, come back again and show it to Bhagavan for his approval before sending the reply. Bhagavan had already written many verses and teachings like Who am I? And self-enquiry. Some of the scholarly devotees wanted everything to be collected and brought out as a collected works of Ramana Maharshi. They gathered all the Tamil works of Bhagavan and sent it to the press, but a preface still needed to be written. Muruganar and Natananda were both Tamil scholars, but they backed out saying, how are we qualified to write a preface to Bhagavan's original writings? There was much hesitation in the ashram and the preface was thus pending. One day, TKS came very late at night from the town. When he entered the hall, Bhagavan told him, why don't you write the preface yourself? He was shocked, but he knew that whatever came out from Bhagavan was the truth and a commandment. He said, Bhagavan, how can I write? But if your grace is there, what cannot be done? Bhagavan said, write it. It will come all right. He sat down, looked at Bhagavan and the writing flowed. When he completed it, he placed it at Bhagavan's holy feet. And Bhagavan read it. Since Bhagavan had read it, TKS started to leave. But Bhagavan called him back. Come, why haven't you said it is hoped? Why not say it is certain? So saying, he effected one change in the last sentence of the preface. It is hoped that Sri Bhagavan's grace in the form of these collected works will give liberation and bliss to all the seekers who take these collected works into their heart. Bhagavan changed it is hoped to it is certain. The Tamil words was Nambugiren. It is hoped. Bhagavan changed it into Thinnam. Thinnam in Tamil means absolutely certain. After Bhagavan's correction, the preface ended with this assurance. It is absolutely certain that the Sri Bhagavan's grace in the form of these collective works will give liberation and bliss to all seekers who took these collective works into their heart. To this day, there are many who are being guided by this book, and many whose life breath is the collected works of Bhagavan, either in the original Tamil or in translations. My friend, philosopher and guide, author Osborne, used to swear the collector of works of Ramana Maharishi. The collected works were originally only in Tamil. Author Osborne felt that it should be translated into English and made it available all over the world. He had already found a publisher in London. Only a few verses had to be translated from Tamil to English. There was much work to be done, but nobody was assisting author Osborne. It was my teacher TKS who sat along with author Osborne and helped him. When author went home, TKS would dictate to me and I would type it and give it later to Osborne. Then the collected works in English was thus entirely typed by me. I share this without a tinge of arrogance, but with sublime ecstasy. My teacher TKS was also a very good poet in composing Tamil verses. He wrote 6 verses glorifying Sadguru Ramana. When he placed these poems at the feet of Bhagavan, again Bhagavan corrected only one word in verse 5. Instead of whose grace is following, blessing all, he changed it to whose grace is directed, blessing all. TKS explained to me that grace is the divine power always available to all in the relationship between teacher and the taught. It is the Guru who helps channelize the grace to be imbibed by the disciple. The one word that Bhagavan altered was from Payum, is flowing, to Paichum, is directed. What a subtle yet sublime transformation!